Welcome to Weeping Willow Homestead and another What We Eat for Dinner in a Week. In these videos, I show you how I combine inexpensive Aldi groceries with food that we are blessed with from the food pantries to make hopefully well-balanced, well-rounded meals. As a family, we generally eat low carb because my husband and I do for health reasons. And as the sole cook in the house, it is easier for me to make one meal than to try to short order cook it. But you'll see variations to that, and I will explain as we go. So tonight is Monday night, and last week, if you watched, I think it was Monday, I combined like 3 pounds of meat to make little mini meatloaves, and I had a little bit extra, so I went ahead and made, let's see here, 2, 4, 6 burger patties, and they were, I added cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, and some bacon bits to them to make them kind of like bacon cheeseburger meatloaves. And I just put those in the freezer with the intention of me making them for lunches for me. And then I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't going to eat all of those in a week anyway, but you know. So tonight, I pulled those out and I cooked them in my cast iron skillet. And then when those were done, I added in a package of Jumbo Franks from Aldi, and cooked those in the same pan because yum flavor. And then I do have hot dog buns. I do not have hamburger buns, but the kids will probably all choose a hot dog anyway. And then I've got the toppings for both of those. When I do hamburgers to keep it low carb, I just do a couple of hamburgers on my plate and put all the toppings on them. So I'll put tomato on it. And then probably ketchup, and I just eat it with a fork, and that's totally fine with me. I don't miss bread for the most part, really, and I am also gluten-free, so most of the keto breads, we're going to loosely use that. I skip out on it anyway for, inflammation reasons, all of that. Anyway, with that, we have sliced tomato from our garden. We're so close to tomatoes being done. I know we've got max of maybe 3 more weeks, which makes me want to cry because I love garden fresh tomatoes. And then I had a cabbage in the refrigerator that needed used, and there was barely any of it left that was worth using. So I did a very large carrot and then the rest of that cabbage and some Miracle Whip. I also have a few roasted potatoes left over from last week. I need to check what day I made those. That's one of the fringe benefits of doing YouTube videos, is when I'm not sure how long something's been in the refrigerator, I can look back at YouTube and figure out, hey, when did I make those? Because I'm thinking I made them last Monday, in which case I won't be reheating those. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were from last Monday. I'll double check. If they're not, I'm just going to throw those in the microwave and reheat the little bit of those that are left. There's maybe like a cup left. And so the kids can pick and choose whatever sides they want to go with this. I also have sauerkraut that I try to pull out at least once a day. And this would be a good meal to pull it out with because sauerkraut on hot dogs is delicious. So yeah, that is everything. We'll see you tomorrow. It is Tuesday night, and tonight we are having the kids' favorite breakfast for dinner. I went ahead and scrambled up a dozen of our eggs, and I did 2 pounds of sausage. We can get away with 1 pound of sausage just fine, no problem. But I was like, I'm going to go ahead and make up 2 pounds, and then we have leftovers for breakfasts for the next couple of mornings for the kids to have if they want a sausage patty with breakfast. And then this is a very not pretty apple cobbler. That's fine. This is our apples, and since we have them, I am going to use them. So, yeah, it'll taste good, so who cares if it's not very pretty. If you follow along with these, you know I am not a big breakfast for dinner person because I have eggs in some form for breakfast every day. pretty much. It's either eggs or I have broth for breakfast and kind of just do a broth fast, or I fast for breakfast. So I generally don't want breakfast for dinner, but tonight it actually sounds good. So I will just do the eggs and the sausage, and then I've got some low carb muffins that I made myself that I just keep in the freezer, and I'll eat one of those occasionally. So I will just pull that out and microwave it. So, and I'm so excited, y'all. It's gonna rain. Hang on just a second. I'll show you something. So this is the state of our yard right now. Our whole yard looks like this. It's awful. It's dry and crunchy, and it is sprinkling right now. There, it's dripping on my nasturtiums. And we're supposed to get, it has been a solid probably 3 weeks since we got any rain to speak of. And so we're very excited to be getting some rain, and they're calling for it to rain all night tonight. So yeah, I'm so ready for that, because look, even the fields just look awful. So yeah. All right, that is a Tuesday night dinner and a random weather update. We'll see you tomorrow. It is Wednesday night, and tonight we are having, I don't even remember what this, I swear the original recipe was called Keto Best Friends Casserole or something like that. I think I have a link to this one, so I will post it in the show notes. But I've made it so many times I don't even use a recipe anymore, and I tweak it every time I make it. So essentially it's a pound of ground beef, and you brown that, and then I think the original recipe had onion in it. I just did onion powder this time. Then you add in cream cheese and broth and some seasonings. I didn't have any cream cheese, so I did some sour cream and some broth and some milk. Essentially, you're just making like a creamy sauce down in the bottom, and then you let that simmer until it kind of thickens up, and then you pour on drained green beans, and then you're supposed to put cheese on top and bake it. This time I just threw the lid on top because, yeah, I'm going for a quick and easy meal tonight. And I kind of maybe overdid it with the cheese. I had like a little bit of cheese left in the container kind of thing after I put the cup or so on, and I was like, yeah, I'll just put the rest on. It may have been a little bit too much. Yeah, no, it's not, because it's cheese. So I'll post the original recipe in the show notes, and by all means, follow the original recipe. But I've made this enough times that it's kind of just a comfort food. It's a quick and easy, would make a really nice weeknight meal, because it really is under a half an hour and it's done. And then you can eat this as is if you're low carb. If you're not, you could do, we serve it with mashed potatoes under it, and this is just some instant mashed potatoes. And I used chicken or turkey broth, chicken broth, sorry, as the water instead of using water, so that it just kind of gives a little bit more flavor. You can serve it over egg noodles. You could do over rice. You could do it over cauli rice. You could add more broth to it and have it kind of be more of a soup. It's really flexible, but it's one that all of the kids will eat, and it's just kind of a nice warm. We like to make this one in the winter a lot. I like to make this one in the winter a lot. But it really is such a nice quick meal. You can bulk it up by upping the amount of beef in it or the amount of green beans in it. You can make it lower fat by using ground turkey and using sour cream or even Greek yogurt instead of the cream cheese. It's just a super flexible recipe. So yeah, that's how that works. I will just not have mine on mashed potatoes, and the mashed potatoes just kind of bulk it up to make it go a little bit further, because I just did 1 pound of ground beef tonight. 1 pound of ground beef is pushing it on feeding even just me and the kids. If my husband was home, it definitely would not be enough. So yeah, we will probably end up polishing off this entire pan, which is totally fine. There will probably be some mashed potatoes left. So, all right, that is Wednesday night. We'll see you tomorrow. Ooh, look at that bad fall lighting. It is that time of year when the sun is shining in the kitchen window right down on my stove. Just makes awful lighting. So anyway, YouTube problems. Tonight is Thursday night. We had one more of the ham steaks from the food pantry, the mobile food pantry. And so I did that, and I just did it under the broiler, and it's just me and the kids tonight. So it's not a huge amount of meat, but it'll do for us for dinner. No big deal. And then I steamed up the broccoli that we got from the food pantry and did butter on it, quick and easy. And then I took the leftover mashed potatoes from last night. There were about 2 cups left. And I purposely overdid it last night so that I would have extras tonight. I added in 1 egg, a handful of cheese, like maybe half a cup of shredded cheese, and then probably a solid cup of flour. My mashed potatoes were a little runny last night. And I wanted them for the meal that we had last night. I wanted them a little runny, but because of that, these almost came out like, instead of like potato pancakes or potato fritters, they came out almost like a flatbread inside. I'm trying to rip one open so you can see. So they're like a cheesy flatbread. I jokingly in my head want to call these Irish flatbread, because like every culture has a flatbread of some kind, except Ireland I don't think has a flatbread. They have soda bread, I think is their more traditional bread item. And to me, this is like potatoes and bread, an Irish flatbread. Sorry, my weird sense of humor. My kids really like these. I just fry them in a little bit of oil, and then when they were done, I did salt them. I tasted a bite of one. Obviously, I am low carb and gluten-free, so I don't want to eat a whole lot of it. But I went ahead and tasted one to see how it tasted. So yeah, I added salt. So I will just eat those 2, and then I may end up doing like a sliced tomato or something like that. Y'all, look at my hands. They're not dirty, I promise. I do not have dirty fingernails. I was canning apple juice today, which is the first time I have ever done that. It was our apples. I'm trying to come up with ways to use our apples. And the way that I did this is I ran them through a juicer that my husband and I bought probably 10 or more years ago, and my husband attempted a juice fast. Long story. No, it was longer than that, because I bought it when I worked at Walmart and I used my discount to buy it. So it's been like 17-year-old juicer, y'all. That one's been around for a while. And we bought it like forever ago. And anyway, so I wanted to try making apple juice, and when I did it like that and then I ran it through a tea towel to strain out the stuff, it comes out tasting like a cross between apple juice and apple cider. So I went ahead and canned up. This is the second round that I've done. So I've got 3 quarts already, and I did 4 quarts and 7 pints today. And I figure a quart, if I do that, my kids can each have like a little cup of apple cider for like breakfast, or breakfast for dinner, or as like popcorn and apple cider as a dessert or something on like movie night or something like that. I don't know. Just trying to use up those. Our apples are so tart that they just don't make good apple pie or applesauce. I was thinking about maybe trying apple jelly or apple butter with them. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to get done with them this year, because they're starting to slow down. Like there's not a whole lot of them left. So yeah, anyway, there's your canning update to go with dinner tonight. But yeah, explanation as to why my fingernails look awful. This hand's not as bad because I wasn't grabbing. I was using my left hand to grab the apples, but even my skin is like stained. It's hilarious. My kitchen is going to need a complete and total overhaul after this year. So, all right, that is Thursday night. We'll see you tomorrow. It is Friday night, and Friday night at our house means pizza night. Sometimes that's store-bought, sometimes it's homemade, sometimes it's like a cross between the two. It is almost never, as in like once every 2 or 3 years. takeout pizza because we live too far out for takeout to be delivered to us. And I can make a whole lot of frozen pizzas or from scratch pizzas for a lot cheaper and at about the same time as it takes to get the takeout pizza, so we just don't do it. So tonight I did the 2 pizzas from the food pantry this week. There's a Supreme, which is going to be interesting because none of my kids usually I know none of them like olives, and they're meh on the peppers. So we'll see whether they just end up picking them off or whether they find out that they like them, because I don't like olives like just straight, but I will eat them on a pizza, so maybe they'll like them. And then the other one is pepperoni. With that, I made broccoli salad, which is my kids all like this one. It is raw broccoli, some bacon. I did cheddar cheese this time and sliced almonds, and then just some Miracle Whip. So yeah, it's a nice quick and easy side. I'm going to set that over there so it's not on the hot oven. For me, I have no idea. I'm not really all that hungry. I may just end up eating leftovers of something, or I don't know. I'll figure something out. Tonight is also the one night a week that we do dessert. Sometimes there are other nights when we might do something small for dessert, or like my big kids get candy from youth group, so they might have a piece of that, and so I'll give the little kids a piece of candy or something, but Friday night we always do dessert. Sometimes I'll make something, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I just pull out whatever pre-made dessert items that we have on hand and serve those up. So we've got those biscotti that I picked up the other day that I could make hot chocolate to go with that, or even just a cup of milk would be good with it. We have some peanut butter cookies left. There's the box of candy that is from the pantry, like the suckers from the pantry, and then the things from the parade a few weeks ago. So usually that's what I do, is I just pull anything out that we have that's like that the kids then choose whatever they want. And it's like they get a couple of pieces of candy or a few cookies, or they probably just get one of those biscotti things, that kind of thing. So, all right, that is Friday night. We'll see you tomorrow. It is Saturday night, and Saturday night I usually make a big meal. Traditionally what we had, like when we would get home from church on Sundays. And I'll explain why I do a big meal here in a little bit. Tonight, time got away from me. I had the meat in the crock pot, and I swear I looked at the clock at one point and it was 6. And I was like, okay, I'll get a couple more like really quick and easy tasks done. And then I looked at the clock again and it was 6:44, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't finish dinner. So it is now 6:59, and yeah, I hurriedly finished some things for dinner. So let's start over here. This is the beef roast from the food pantry earlier this week. And then this is a deer roast that we got last year that's been living in my freezer, and I just kept not doing it, not getting around to it. So I went ahead and threw both of those in there because if I'm going to cook one, I'll cook both. The deer roast is not really big enough to feed all of us for a meal. The beef roast would have been, but having a little extra is not going to hurt anything. In the bottom of the pan, I put in like a half a cup of water to start with. And then I did Worcestershire sauce, or as I like to call it, wash your sister sauce, and some coconut aminos, which is soy sauce, and then some dried onions and dried mushrooms. So those are also in the bottom, and my husband and I will eat those. And then I put the meat in and poured those 2 sauces over top again, and that's all that I did to it. I didn't add anything else to it. I figured the salt from both of those is probably plenty, and they're just going to be flavorful meats. I know they are, so I left it there. And then I cooked that for, when did I start this? About 11 o'clock this morning. Hey, shh. So it has been on low and slow all day, so it's pretty tender, I think. Yeah, it's fall aparty, so we'll see. With that, I also, the last couple of hours, threw some carrots in there and cooked those, and I went ahead and pulled those out. And then we've got sliced tomato from our garden, and I've got, this was the last minute, I'm throwing together sides. I just opened up a quart of green beans and I'm warming that up. So yeah, made for a quick and easy dinner because everything was already in the crock pot and going. And I even cut up the carrots yesterday because I intended on using those. I was going to make carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower with dinner last night and changed my mind. So I had already cut up some carrots, so they were already done for me and in the fridge. So, all right. So that is our week of meals if you are new here. I do not cook on Sundays. So tomorrow when we get home from church pretty late. Usually not until like 1:30, somewhere around in there. So when we get home from church, I will pull out all of the leftovers from this week, which there's not a whole lot. This is pretty much the leftovers this week. I will pull anything that we have leftovers out, and then I let the kids pick and choose whatever they want. I also try to keep things like canned peas, cottage cheese, I'll bust out a box of mac and cheese and make it real quick. Those kind of things if we don't have a whole lot of leftovers to kind of add to it. Plus fresh veggies, anything we have from the garden, that kind of thing. So I'll pull all of that out, and then the kids get to pick and choose whatever they want. They make their plates. We heat them up in the microwave, and they're good to go. For dinner tomorrow night, I pull out charcuterie board things. Sorry, I'm distracted. There's a cat out there playing, and I'm watching it out the window. See him? And so, yeah, I pull out charcuterie board things, cured meats, dried fruits, cheese, goat cheese, crackers, chips, popcorn, pickles, anything that you would normally put on a charcuterie board. I pull all of that stuff out, put it all on the counter, pull out paper plates, and I let the kids pick and choose whatever they want. They get to make their own plates. I help the little ones make plates. And my two big kids go to youth group on Sunday evenings, so I just leave everything out, and then when they get home from youth group, they can make their plates, and then I put everything away. It's not out longer than a couple of hours. Don't worry about the food safety issue. And I keep everything covered, so like no flies or anything like that get into it. Yeah, we make the plates, and the kids eat. I usually eat leftovers again, or I'll make myself like air fryer chicken nuggets, or I'll air fry like a chicken thigh or something like that. I go really easy, simple, with some veggies on the side or whatever. So, yeah, that is our week of meals. I will post any relevant recipes in the show notes, although I can't think of any off the top of my head. This week was definitely a wing it week on just using what we had on hand, and making it work. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to shut up now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye and God bless.